Hey people, so
We're back in the New York groove.
we're gonna do a little double feature here
Ooh.
of reviews where one of us saw the movie but the other person didn't, so we're gonna try to explain it to the other person.
So the first movie that I saw, was a little movie, independent film,
Yeah.
that very little people saw. It was called Beauty and the Beast. You've all heard of this movie. You've probably all seen it 15 times and come to our theater and tried to buy tickets and then got mad at us because it was sold out because you didn't buy your tickets online ahead of time.
And then we were sitting in the box office and our chairs just swiveling like,
This movie's made $1 billion. Everybody loves it, but the only person whose opinion matters is mine.
okay.
And this movie is really good. It's actually really good. If your criticism with this movie is it didn't change anything from the animated movie, you're gonna hate this movie because it's pretty much exactly the same as the animated film. The songs, I think some of the lyrics are changing. There's like 1 or 2 new songs. There's a couple new characters, but outside of that, it's relatively the same. However, they do make some changes, and that's actually what I enjoyed the most about this movie, because a lot of the changes they made actually made sense. They didn't just change stupid stuff for no reason. The ensemble is really good and really works well together. Emma Watson's fantastic. I mean, she's like exactly how you would picture this role in live action. I thought Dan Stevens was really good. He wasn't as intimidating as I expected the Beast to be. Because you see the animated movie, the Beast is scary at first, and then you learn to like him. Or in this movie, you never get to really he never becomes that terrifying creature.
It might be that CG versus 2D animation
That's
thing.
true. I thought the CG with the Beast could have been a little bit better.
Did he actually move like a beast? Because you know when you see the Beast run in the animated version and he's scampering and he kind of loses his back legs like a dog.
He pretty much moves except for that one scene when he fights the wolves. He pretty much moves like a human. I think he could have been a little bit more scary, but Dan Stevens does a good job in the role. If you haven't seen The Guest, it's fun as hell. Dan Stevens is a great actor, and he would be a great James Bond. All the actors sing very well, which I was impressed by. This isn't like Les Miserables, when they get random actors who don't know anything about musicals. Everybody in this movie, I was actually really impressed by Luke Evans.
Luke Evans has a background in musical theater.
Yeah, I didn't know that when I was seeing the movie. I was I just like him as an actor. He does a great job. Obviously, Josh Gad has a background in musical theater. He does a really good job with the musical numbers. Ewan McGregor's French accent kind of goes in and out, but he's fine. You have to be into musicals, I'll say that. If you're not cool with people just kind of randomly getting into song, you're probably not gonna like this movie. And it doesn't transition quite as smoothly from normal to musical as it does in the animated version, just because it's animated and it kind of works better that way. It does feel a little bit choppy at some points, but outside of that, it flows pretty well. It's a pretty long movie. It's 2 hours, and I was never really bored at any point. They go back between sort of 3 different events. They go back to Belle's father, played by Kevin Kline. They go back to Belle and the Beast, and they go back to what's happening in the town with LeFou and Gaston. So they maneuver between the 3 different sort of plots fairly well, so you never get super bored watching any significant part of it. I'm going to go into spoilers real fast. If you don't want to know anything about it, just scroll to the time card here, and you'll get my final thoughts on the movie, and we'll go to our next review. In the original, the Beast can't read, and Belle teaches him to read. But in this movie, he's literate, and that's something they kind of bond over, is because they can both read. And that makes sense, because he's a fucking prince, and he would have had, an expensive education. The big one that they're hyping and stuff is that LeFou is gay. I missed, 5 minutes of this movie, and I thought, did I miss the exclusively gay moment? And then I realized, oh, no, I didn't. It's just that, he dances with the dude at the end. If you're, a hardcore Christian, bigot, and you're afraid about taking your kids to this movie, it's something you could probably ignore, but it makes sense for his character in the context of the movie, and they actually give LeFou more to do as a character. He ends up kind of joining the heroes at the end. He ends up betraying Gaston in the end battle. Even if you took out the gay aspect of it, it makes sense of him as a character he's just getting shit on this whole time by the guy he idolizes, and so he's gonna end up changing sides at the end, and he realizes that he can become his own man and make his own decisions outside of Gaston. So that was a cool twist, and I thought Josh Gad did a good job with it. They're less clear about the timeline and stuff, because in the original movie it was his 16th birthday or whatever, but everybody who got turned into shit in the castle they all remain the same age, so that was weird. They don't really go into that specifically, so there's no confusing timeline shit. Also, like, in the animated movie, like, Belle's father is just, like, kind of this moron, but in the movie, it's Kevin Kline, and he's actually, like, a sympathetic character, and you get some more backstory about the Beast's parents. You kind of realize the way he is because his mother died when he was young, and his dad was a dick.
That's lame.
In the animated, it's like, oh, it's all these poor people in the castle who just got turned into shit. But then you realize, like, in the movie, it's like, they never were there for him. They just they never taught him the error of his ways after his mom died, and that's kind of why they were cursed. It worked well in the movie. I felt like you might have liked it. You haven't seen this movie?
No, I wouldn't have liked that.
And they explain stuff about Belle's parents, which made sense. It's more of like an expanded version of the animated. If the animated movie is just like the basics, this is more of an expanded version. It's not quite as well executed, but it's a more complete story. Now we're getting into my final thoughts on Beauty and the Beast. There's really not that much to talk about because it's pretty straightforward. It's a really good, well-done movie. Special effects, for the most part, are solid. Musical numbers are really good.
How are the new songs?
Well, I missed one of the new songs because I had to grab my dad's medication when we were watching the movie. There's this new character that's played by Stanley Tucci, who's like this piano.
Okay.
And, yeah, he doesn't, like, do...
Is he flamboyantly gay? Because that sounds like a Stanley Tucci role.
No, because he has a wife who's, like, a sofa or something.
So, wait, what?
I don't know. This is a Disney movie.
He's a piano, she's a sofa.
Yeah. Okay, I saw this with my sisters, who are both like musical fans, and they were telling me that some of the lyrics were changed a bit. I didn't really notice it because I don't listen to musicals.
This is coming from the man that spent 3 goddamn fucking months listening to the La La Land soundtrack on fucking repeat for fucking ever.
But that's a movie.
That's a musical, you dipshit.
Outside of La La Land, I don't generally listen to musical soundtracks.
Sing Street.
That's not a musical. It's
Yeah, it is. That is.
Okay, outside of La La Land, Moana, Sing Street, and Popstar, I generally don't...
4 movies out of 2016, and he's not a musical fan.
From what I was talking to my sisters about it, and they, knew the lyrics really well, and they said, they changed a lot of the lyrics, which was nice because, you don't want to see the exact same thing.
They're open to the idea of changing some shit in this movie.
Yeah. So, sort of going along with that theme, the changes that they made make sense. If you like the original animated movie, it's a good adaptation. It's not like, game-changing or whatever. But I had a really good time watching it. I would definitely recommend it. It's a great movie for families because, it's a movie you can take your kids to that doesn't speak down to them. So overall, I'm going to go 4.5 out of 6. It's a solid movie.
So, if you like this video, we got a like button below, we got a subscribe button below if you want to find out when to get new shit. Also, when you click subscribe, click the little bell icon so you actually get notified on new shit. We got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. He's got a blog, liammgalhand.wordpress.com. He reviews every single movie he sees, including Netflix shit. And our friend Noah is the Cinema Geek on Instagram. And coming up next, we've got me talking about The Boss Baby.
What?
And I kind of love it.